I personally never wanted to have a 9-to-5 job and be working in the same place every single day. I never saw myself like that. But I didn't know what I could do with that, like something else that I could be, like I didn't have to come to the same, like an office every single day.
Welcome to the Spark Your Legacy podcast. My name is Ximena Andrade. I am the owner and founder of Spark Tax Services. And on this podcast, we talk to small business owners and entrepreneurs from various different industries to gain their perspective on how they started, their journey along the way, and where they are today. So here we go. Enjoy this episode. Welcome everybody to another episode of the Spark Your Legacy podcast. My name is Ximena Andrade. I'm very happy today. We have an amazing, beautiful guest today. This is my lovely wife, Ximena Andrade. For those that don't know, she's a real estate agent, and we're going to go ahead and talk about the background. Right now she's with Flores Realty, and I may ask some questions that I already know the answers to, but just to give more context to her story and whatever topics we might dive into, I'll go ahead and just kind of pry the answers from her. So, hi, what?
Hello.
How are you doing?
Good.
Feeling
Excited.
good? Yeah?
Excited to be here.
Okay. First, before we get into it, I just want to say thank you so much for always supporting me, always sharing my posts on social media, to taking care of our son. I just wanted to start with that because you are a super, super big help to everything we've so far have done, will continue to do, and you're just an awesome wife.
Thank you.
I feel like I don't say that enough because I'm just so busy, but I just want to say that publicly to you.
Thank you.
So, you're a real estate agent.
Yes.
So to give more context to your story, can you give me some background, some personal background of like kind of where you grew up, where you're from?
Yeah, so I was born in Peru. I came to the United States when I was 9 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Once I got here...
Maryland?
Yeah,
Where
came straight to Maryland. Hydesville. And
The
then, eventually we moved to Germantown. And I think that was most of my life I grew up in Germantown. Because it was all of middle school, all of high school. But yeah, I did my bachelor's degree, associate's and bachelor's degree here. And
what'd you graduate with? What's your degree?
Legal studies.
Okay.
Yeah, I wanted to pursue law. So that's why I did legal studies as my bachelor's, and the goal was to go to law school. But I think as, we had our son and being a full-time mom and trying to work full-time, I didn't think it was going to be possible. Not because I wasn't going to have the support from you, but I think also because I knew I was going to have to make a lot of sacrifices as far as making the time to, drive to school and because it was going to be like a full-time job. And I thought it was going to take away my time with our son. So I think, and he was
being a lawyer.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so I just felt like I wanted to prioritize, because as a woman, I think you feel like you're supposed to be at home with the children. So I just felt like, I just wanted to spend more time with our son, and that I put it, I think, on the side until I realized what I really wanted to do. So that's when I, got my first job as soon as I graduated in May of 2019. June, I got my first paralegal job at a law firm. Yeah, I worked there for about a year. But I think I realized it wasn't something I wanted to do for the rest of my life, as far as, I couldn't move up any higher
in the lawyer industry.
In the industry, right, unless I became a lawyer. Like the next step would have been to become an attorney. And
like paralegal and lawyer, like that's about it.
Exactly. I just knew that I didn't want to do that because I wasn't ready to kind of, prioritize school instead of our son. So, and I think a lot of moms probably struggle with those type of decisions, because you're also a mom and you have to consider that, because I didn't want somebody else to raise our son. So,
but for the record, I feel like, and you can tell me, it has to be an episode of The Entanglement, but Will Smith. But you can tell me, I've been supportive, I feel like, of your career.
Yeah.
And I've told you, if you want to go to law school, we'll make it happen.
Right.
If you don't, that's cool too. But I ultimately left that decision to you.
Yeah.
And obviously you're a real estate agent now. So you're a paralegal for a year. a law firm. What happened? Like, what made you make the transition?
I think within that year already, I think within 6 months of working.
This was during the pandemic.
Yeah, the pandemic hit, and I just, I'm working from home. And at the same time, I personally never wanted to have a 9-to-5 job and be working in the same place every single day. I never saw myself like that. But I didn't know what I could do with that, like something else that I could be like, that I didn't have to come to the same, like an office every single day. And then eventually we bought our first home, which was in November of 2017. And, our first property took a couple months. And I met a really nice realtor through, social media, which was Karina. And, she helped us purchase our first home. And it was just, I think we just became really good friends with her. And then Christopher, her husband. And they were always just there. And we know, as friends, I always wanted to support them as well. Because obviously I know that it's...
Well, we didn't know them before.
No, we didn't know them
before. When we were searching for our house. This was while you were still in college. We bought a house.
Yeah.
In
so
November
this was
2017.
Previous. When I was working at the law firm, we already knew them for a few years. For like 3 years.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
So, we always had them as friends, and I always knew that they were real estate agents. And, I know that being an entrepreneur or having your own business is just, it's difficult. And you need all the support you can, especially from friends. So any friends that we had, that were wanting to buy, and I was like, here's Karina. I was always referring Karina or Chris because, they were amazing. And, they were our friends. So, I think once I entered into the law field, as a paralegal, I think I realized that with the whole pandemic that I wanted to. I think it made a lot of people realize, that prioritizing family was the most important, because
just prioritization in general.
Yeah,
what's important in life.
Exactly, because a lot of people passed, during COVID. So I think it made a lot of people realize that family is first before work, because work can replace you just like that. So eventually towards 2019, 2020 was it? That when you
started studying?
I graduated 2019. No, I graduated 2019, and then 2020 of June, I think during May I was already telling you that I wasn't happy with the job. Because
it's stressful. I mean, it's very demanding. Just working in an accounting firm or law firm, like it's a very demanding job.
Not only that, but it was more of, I didn't feel like I was, as a person that just graduated with their bachelor's, you expect so much that, and then you don't get it, that it's very disappointing. Because it's like, why did I go to school then? So obviously Chris and Karina are friends, so I kind of mentioned it to them, what my thoughts were as far as, I wanted to find another job, but I wasn't sure what I wanted to do, because obviously law school was out of the question, because we were trying to get out of debt. We were trying to grow, build something, and I just felt like that was another con for law school, it was going to be debt.
More debt. So at the time, we found Dave Ramsey in 2019.
You found.
I found Dave Ramsey in 2019. And it was about the whole, getting debt free. And we started our journey. We even moved back in with my mom.
Yeah.
And just going through that whole process made us realize, debt sucks.
Yeah.
Especially student loans. And going to be a lawyer, I mean, it's going to be a couple $100,000.
Yeah.
So it's not just time taken away from you, but it's also you're racking up a lot of debt. And at the time, we were just
and it wasn't going to be instant gratification where I go to law school, graduate, and start making $100K or more. It's not like
Why?
That. It's just not like that. As a lawyer or paralegal, you need to have experience in the law field. Not only 1 year, you need 2, 3, 4, 5 years. So even if I did graduate, I'm already graduating with debt, and then I wasn't going to find a job that was going to pay me well.
Yep.
So I just felt like it wasn't something that I was going to get, the income for it to make it up for all the sacrifices until probably 8+ years. And it just didn't make sense to me because I didn't want us to be back, in debt. And even though I had your support, because you always told me, you would support me if I decided to go to law school, I just didn't want to do that. And I just felt like it wasn't the best idea or best decision. So then I told, Chris and Karina, as our friends, like any other friend, I would tell them, my thoughts and concerns. And then, Chris said, have you thought about being a realtor? And I said, no, I've never thought about that.
He brought it up to you?
He brought it up to me.
Okay.
Because I don't think I ever really wanted to. I was scared of being an entrepreneur just because it seems like you have to be in charge of getting your clients. You're like all the stress, all the burden,
the money, the taxes.
It's all on yourself. You're benefits, responsible for everything. So then, and I knew that from Chris and Karina, from what they would tell us.
Right.
So I wasn't sure if that would be for me, just because before being a realtor, I was very shy. Like, I'm not somebody that's going to talk to a stranger right away from the bat. I'm not like that. I'm not going to open up to someone. I'm very friendly. I'm very friendly. I'm friendly, but it's not like I'll go up to a stranger and start talking to them because
hey, you want to buy a house?
It's out of my comfort zone, right? And I'm not a salesperson either. Yeah. I don't like to push people. So I wasn't sure, but Chris and Karina told me, I think this might, it could work. Why don't you give it a shot? Mm-hmm. And I said, okay, like there's nothing else that I could think of, like, okay, why not? And then I let you know, and you were like, I'll support you, whatever you decide to do. So then I started studying in 2020. I started studying for the real estate exam. Yeah. And I passed it by the week before Thanksgiving.
First try?
No, second try.
It's okay.
Yeah.
I failed many times for my CPA. I know.
Yeah, it was like a long time since I've studied for an exam. So, after the first time, I'm like, I'm not taking this a second, third, fourth try. I was like, hell no.
I feel like the second time you really committed versus the first time you were kind of like, I think it'll be fine. I'll be all right.
I don't think I knew what I was getting myself into as far as the exam, what it would have. And yeah, it wasn't like crazy difficult, but I think you definitely need to put your best effort into studying for that exam in order to pass it. So I passed it the week before Thanksgiving. And I got my license and I joined Flores Realty, which Chris and Karina had just recently opened up, I think. They started their own brokerage firm, yeah. So, I joined them, and it was nice working with friends and having someone support, because obviously I was going into it not knowing what it really entailed as far as, other than you help people sell houses or buy houses. Right. What is it? What's the whole, idea of it? Like, what was the plan? Like, how do you do everything, Yeah. So,
because everyone's perception of a realtor is
you just sell
a house and get paid.
That's it. Houses sell themselves.
It's the easiest job in the world, right?
Yeah, but it's not. It's not. And Christopher told me that from the very beginning. He said it's not going to be easy, but as long as you stick through it, it's fine. I gave it my best from the very beginning. And I think it was from the first, what I would say is my whole first year from where I started and from where I am now, I feel like I've grown. Huge
difference. Yeah.
Like, as a person, I've grown, individual and as in the career, because it's really made me feel more confident as a person, but also, it's a lot of growth. Because the challenges that it entails as a realtor, it really helps you grow as a person too.
Can you give me an example of what made you like what's something different from Ximena from December 2020 versus Ximena from December 2021?
So I hate conflict. I hate if I have to confront anyone. I
don't think anyone likes conflict.
I avoid it. No, but some people don't mind it. Yeah. But I've never been someone to want drama or, that are going to fight or something like that, like verbally, anything. I didn't like it. I don't feel good about it. So, and I think as a realtor, you have to kind of deal with conflict a lot because you're dealing with people's money. You're helping people purchase their home, but you're also dealing with, if you do something wrong, or not only that, but like, if something were to go south, it could be a conflict. So you have to be ready to talk to your clients.
Conflict with like loan officers,
like
agents,
anything, yeah. In every side, yeah. As an agent, like if I had to ever relay something to the client, if it was good news, bad news, you have to know how to handle that, and you have to know how to talk to the client. So that was something I've learned, and definitely, like, I think with just having different clients and everything, you kind of get the hang of it, and you learn as you go. So, like, it was hard, but at the same time, like, I appreciated everyone's help as far as, Flores Realty team.
Yep. They've been awesome.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
So you gave us a whole timeline. Thank you for that. The transition from paralegal to real estate, like, did you have any moments of doubt of like, what did I get myself into, or where there's moments like you just couldn't sleep at night? I already know the answers to this, but like, where there's moments to like have sleepless nights, or you were considering going back to maybe being a paralegal or going to get a different type of like W-2 job?
I don't think so. I think it was hard. Being a realtor it was very hard the first few months, because, and I did cry, because it was a lot of emotion. Like, I took an emotional toll on myself, just because I was doing a lot of things that was out of my comfort zone. But at the same time, I knew that at the end of it, like, nothing is easy, especially when you first jump into something new. And I knew I was gonna grow. Like, I knew I was gonna learn from it, and everything was gonna just help me as a person, not only career-wise. I just knew that I had to be kind of like, stick through it and just kind of push through.
Never had any moments of doubt?
No, in the beginning, yes, but at the same time, I think it was not doubt, because I think I always kept in mind that at least the real estate career gives me the opportunity to be flexible with my schedule. It allows me the opportunity to be with our son, take him to school, pick him up from school, take him to extracurricular activities. And a 9-to-5 job, I wouldn't be able to do that.
Right.
So that, for one, like, every time I would think about that, like, maybe for a second of doubt, I would be like, no. Because at the end of the day, like, yes, this job as a real estate agent is harder because you have to work for your own money, but it allows me the flexibility to make my own schedule, which another job wouldn't let me. Yeah. And I was making more money than I was making in the law firm. So it just didn't make sense to me. And yes, it's a 24/7 job, because you always have to be available. And I don't mind it. I think that was one of the hard things in the beginning.
Walk me, so there's the second time you mentioned in the beginning, like the first few months. So
the first few months of 2020.
How were the first few months of being a real estate agent?
It was hard trying to accommodate to the schedule, because clients would call. You have to be available. So, like, if clients would call me or text me, at 8 p.m. or on a weekend, and I wasn't, working, I guess, or like, you have that mentality that you're 9 to 5 and that's it. But no, as a realtor, as an entrepreneur, you have to be available. Yeah. And so I didn't feel comfortable at the beginning, and I think that was hard for me in the beginning, the first probably 3 months. But afterwards, now I don't even realize it. Like, I don't mind texting a client. I call them, they know I have a son, they know I have a family outside of work, so they're very understanding, and I'm always available. Like, it's not a problem. And now I can answer, because before, I think I would kind of like go to a room and be like, oh, hello, yes. But now I'm like, okay, I answer wherever I am, and I'm like, hello, yes, blah, blah. And I answer any questions they might have, because I know it's important. And especially in this market, it's crazy, it's seller's market. You have to be on top of it. You can't, save something for tomorrow or later, because it's just that house might be gone. Yeah, and then
the clients will be upset with you.
Yeah.
And then you might lose your clients, and if you lose your clients, you may lose your...
Not that, but I think more of, I wouldn't want my clients to lose something like a home they might love. because I didn't answer.
Because you're off the clock.
I'm off the clock. Yeah, I wouldn't want that.
If it was a regular
fair,
job.
Right.
Yeah.
Because buying their first home is very important. Like, we've purchased our first home and it was a big deal.
Yeah.
Not everyone has the opportunity or the financial stability to purchase their home. So when somebody's ready, I want to be available and, try to answer any questions they have and help them as much as I can.
Got it. You always put the clients first, besides us. If there's something like you have to do, if like a friend invited you out, you're like, fuck. Like, I can't go hiking, guys, or I can't do this, or I can't get my nails done.
And that was hard in the beginning, saying no.
Because I feel like you
friends.
had so much. Yeah, we had so much. Because we were very, I feel like, social. Obviously, there was a damper for the pandemic, but as we slowly eased out of it, we started seeing, more friends after months. Mm-hmm. And
it was hard saying
not
no.
being available. Yeah, it was hard to say no, especially if, at the time I was studying for my CPA exam. So for me, it was like, man.
Yeah.
But for you, yeah.
Yeah, it was hard, but the good thing is that friends understand. They get it. And even when it's friend's birthday, I'm like answering texts and they're like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I have to text the client. Mm-hmm. We submitted an offer, or we need to submit an offer." And I'm always taking my laptop now, like everywhere. It's like my child. Like, I have to take it everywhere. Like,
I think a friend called you Angelica's mom.
Oh,
from Rugrats.
Yeah. She's like, "You're always on your phone." I was like, "I have to be. I can't not be on my phone." But yeah, when I'm with Liam, our son, I try not to be, just because I know that he wants our attention, but at the same time he knows now, because in the beginning I think it was hard to let him know, hey, I'm on the phone with a client.
And for me too.
Yeah.
When I was busy, we were both, there's plenty of moments, especially in the beginning, where we were both busy literally at the same time.
Yeah.
And he would want attention from either of us, but now he's kind of more independent.
And he's understanding now. He understands that he can't talk when I'm on the phone. And I tell him, like, give me a minute.
We've told him.
And I've told him, give me 5 minutes. I'm going to, do this, or I'm going to go call a client. And then as soon as we come down, like, we can watch a movie, we can do this.
Right.
He's like, okay. And so he knows.
And our son is 5, by the way. So he's not older. He's not the youngest either.
Yeah.
But he's at a good age where he understands, I feel like.
To a certain extent,
To a certain extent.
Yeah.
So you've gone through the timeline. You told us about your kind of, the pros and cons of being a realtor, with the flexibility, but also there's a lot of work, a lot in the back end. What's your proudest moment so far? I know you're only a year into the real estate game, but I feel like give perspective. The statistic of selling one home for a new real estate agent is, 1 to 2 homes a year? If that, maybe 1 home. Mm-hmm. And how many homes did you sell in your first year?
10.
That's fucking awesome. Give me some. Yeah. I think you killed it. And I'm pretty sure Chris would agree and Karina would agree. I think you did phenomenal. I think you really did. Like, obviously the first few months were a struggle. Yeah. For anything, any small business, any new job in general, any new habit, hobby, whatever it may be, it's always a struggle in the beginning. But I think you persevered, and you just killed it. So you have 10 houses under your belt. You still have multiple clients that are active.
Well, I've sold 2 more this year.
In 2022, you were already up to 2. I see you doubling in 2022. I see you really just. Unless something crazy happens in the market, and which no one knows, no one has a crystal ball. Yeah. But I think you're doing great. I think you're progressing fantastically. I see your sales, quote unquote sales, doubling. So, and just reflecting on this past year, what would you say was your proudest moment as a realtor, real estate agent, or your personal life?
My proudest moment, I think, is like the growth that I've learned or gained with being a realtor. And it's humbling. It's a humbling experience, because being an entrepreneur is not all, just everything's great and awesome. It's not. I think it has its struggles, but it really helps you grow as a person. And I'm proud of myself for, I think sticking through it, because there were times when I did want to give up. But, you also told me, just stick through it. And then right after that is when I sold like 4 or 5 houses back to back to back.
Because the 10 houses, it wasn't like once a month.
No, it wasn't back to back every month.
Kind of like...
Yeah, I think it was like the first 4 in the beginning of the year, and then during the summer, I think I didn't have anything.
Dry spell.
Really. And then I had like a client or two. And then all of a sudden, like I had like 2 extra clients and 5 at the same time, and then got one under contract. The week after, got another under contract. Like 3 weeks after, got another one. And it was just like, yeah. And so before the end of the year, I closed a total of 10 properties, which was awesome. And
but between the first batch and the second batch,
yeah,
there's like 3 to 4 month gap where, we were struggling. Well, not struggling, but we were kind of concerned.
Yeah.
And I think that's when you kind of had other thoughts.
Yeah, because I was like, am I not? Because as a person, I think we want instant gratification. We do a good job, and you're like, okay, where's my reward? And being an entrepreneur, but having your own business, it's not like that. You have to be patient. And I think in the beginning, from when I first started, I didn't have any expectations, but at the same time, I knew I wanted to help financially for our family. So like contribute. So when I didn't sell for a few months, I was worried. I was like, maybe it's me, maybe I'm not doing a good job, maybe this is not for me. But then, you also had your support. You always telling me, you can do it. Like, I think you should just stick through it. And I stuck through it. And then, I feel like I've done a lot better since. And I've gained a lot of referrals too, which is, it feels like,
it's a blessing.
It feels like reassurance that I'm doing a good job if a client's referring me, and even when I went for Christmas, I went to drop off gifts for them. Like, they were all very happy and thankful and, appreciative. And it makes me happy that they're happy with the home they purchased, that I helped them purchase, because it's a big deal. And I think that's the most important thing for me also was, being able to help people accomplish their goal of being, homeowners. Because a lot of the clients I had were single moms. So that was
all of them? No.
Majority of them.
Wow.
Yeah, majority of them. So I was very happy for them, because not a lot of single moms are able to do that. And it just shows women are empowering, and they can do anything they set their mind to, because being a full-time mom, being a full-time having your full-time job, I had clients that would work like 2-3 jobs. And I was like, wow, how do you do it? Like, you are a Wonder Woman or something, because I can't even imagine. Yeah. But it's like, as mothers, you have to be everything.
You find a way. Where there's a will, there's a way.
Yeah, exactly. So it was gratifying seeing and helping clients make their dream a reality.
I think that's a good reflection point. Yeah, helping all those clients and all those women.
Yeah.
Purchase their home, finding a home for their families, because they're already working hard.
Yeah.
It's just the last thing you want to worry about is where we're going to live.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think you did a great job. Fantastic job. And I'm sure you're going to continue to do a great job.
Yeah.
So you're the year in the game. Where do you see yourself in the future, as far as what are your business goals as a real estate agent, or in the career of being a realtor? Where do you see yourself 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years from now?
I think long-term goal, I would want to, obviously I would expect myself to be selling a lot more houses, at least 100 houses. But my goal has always been, even when I wanted to be an attorney, was, giving back. How can I give back to the community? So in the beginning, when I thought about being an attorney, I wanted to be an immigration attorney to help, immigrants, do pro bono work. Pro bono means you're representing a client for free, helping them. And I wanted to give back to the community in some way. So this being real estate doesn't change that. I want to keep growing in order to be able to help others that might be struggling, financially, people in poverty, or even immigrants and stuff like that need representation.
Donating to charities.
Yeah, donating to organizations. I think that would be something I'd really want to do in the future. I would think 5-10 years from now that I would want to do it, because I just think it's important, and it's for myself, I feel like giving gives me more happiness than when I receive something, because I like making others happy. And if I can do that, then, like, why not? And also I want our son to see that, I want him to know that it's not just about receiving, but also about giving.
And I think what you mean by 5 to 10 years, you're talking about more for like a financial standpoint,
Yeah.
versus something that you can do now, that you kind of been already, helping little by little,
Yeah.
like strangers here and there, just giving your time. Because you helped last year with the Frederick Hispanic community. What was it called?
The charity event, Hispanic charity event.
Hispanic charity. What's the organization? The nonprofit? Do you remember?
Oh, no, not at the top of my head.
Sorry.
Right now. You called me. I'm blank right now.
No, but you were working on that project, like all year.
Yeah.
Volunteering, and then that event helped raise
to help
a
the
lot
Hispanic
of
community,
money
the Hispanic community of Frederick County.
Right, Frederick. Was it Frederick County? Yeah. So
it was like to help the law firm in Frederick County raise funds in order to be able to provide legal services to immigrants, to Hispanics in the community.
Right.
And because a lot of people don't have the money to to hire an attorney, and it sucks because it's not fair. Just because you don't have the money to pay an attorney to represent you doesn't mean you shouldn't have the opportunity to do so. So this organization provides that, and they help the community. And I just thought it was I didn't help financially, but I helped.
Right.
I try to help.
You gave your time instead.
Yeah.
Which is still valuable. And not many people know that. I think only 2 people maybe know that you did that. But I think that's important to know, that you've already been, kind of been active into the community in that aspect of helping out. No, I think it's a good reflection. It's good goals. You have a big heart, sometimes too big. But it's okay. It's all good. So, we talked about, reflection, where you've been at, your kind of career, your development, which has been awesome. I would agree with everything you said. What are 3 key pieces of advice you would give? Like, if there's someone, like, okay, if you can travel back in time, back to the future, go to the Ximena of 2020, what are 3 key pieces of advice you would give her in the form of, like, if you're a fresh entrepreneur, you're a fresh real estate agent, what are 3 key pieces of advice that you would kind of, like, from what you've learned so far, you would give to her to kind of, push her into success?
Patience. Need to be patient. Be realistic, like set realistic goals.
Patience sorry, we're going to go back to the patience in like what aspect?
Like, just because you don't get instant gratification doesn't mean you're doing a bad job. I think as entrepreneurs, we expect that with the first year, it has to be successful, or it's not worth it, or like I'm doing something wrong, and it's just not like that. I think you just need to stick through it. And I mean, Rome wasn't built in a day. Like, it takes years. So your first year might go okay, the second year might go a lot better, and the third, fourth, fifth year, and you're gonna be like a lot better, because you're gonna grow. You're gonna learn from all the mistakes you're gonna make.
That's something that I'm struggling with right now myself.
Yeah.
With the
tax firm. And I kept telling you the same thing you would tell me. I was like,
yeah.
You have to stick through it. You're doing a good job, but you can't expect instant gratification. I was like, you just started like a couple months ago.
And it's just because I have such high expectations, these high set goals that I have for, like, to hold myself accountable.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm not reaching it. But I spoke to a mentor like a week ago.
I think you push yourself too much too.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
But one key advice that he said is, like, as a new entrepreneur, don't expect too much too early.
Yeah.
And that's okay. I think a lot of people go into the entrepreneurship game expecting to make, a full-time salary income their first year to replace their old job. It's really a waiting game. Like you said, patience. I feel like I'm a patient person with, like, friends, family, or son. But when it comes to the business, I feel like especially when you're, like, pouring fucking hours and hours and hours of time, a lot of valuable time taken away from you, taken away from, you know, your family, your friends, and you're just not seeing that spark. You're not seeing the return on investment.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's what sucks a lot. So I would agree with that, the patient part. And you were going to the second one. I'm sorry.
No, I think a lot of people think when I started real estate, a lot of other people started real estate with me.
Yeah.
And
it was just a hot. It's just a hot industry.
Everyone was doing real estate, but I think other people did it because of the money. I did it more of, for me, not only was it financially that I wanted to have, you know, maybe have the opportunity to make decent money, but also was I get to make my own schedule. I get to be with our son. I get to be with my son, you know, spend time with him and still be with him. And I didn't have to leave him with somebody else.
Yeah.
So I think for me, that was the biggest thing. Like, because I said, you know, if we wanted to, you know, have more kids in the future, like I see Karina and she's always able to have her kids with her as well. So, because you create your own time. So I just felt like it was worth it. Like, okay, you know, I'm going into uncharted territory, but I just thought it was, as a mom, like I wanted it to work because of that.
Would you recommend more moms to be real estate agents?
I think if they have the support of their spouse or a friend, I think anyone can do it. But everyone thinks it's easy, and nothing is easy, especially being a realtor. Like from my perspective, at least, it's not easy. And don't do it for the money. I think it's just like, I feel like like attorneys always told me the same thing. Like, don't be an attorney for the money, because it's not, you know, that's not it. Like, it's not going to be worth it.
You can say that about,
like a lot of careers. Yeah. So don't do it because of the money, because if you're not willing to work for it and get your hands dirty, as far as real estate is not only, you know, selling houses or helping others buy houses, you also have to put a lot of work into it, as far as you might have to be the cleaning service. You might have to, you know, get your hands dirty and, you know, start cleaning the properties if you're listing that property, to make sure that it gets sold. Because at the end of the day, it all falls on you, because you're the agent representing that home. And if it doesn't sell because something wasn't clean, even though, yes, the owner should have done it, but you're not going to blame the client, you know? And at the end of the day, you're getting paid for it. So, like, I don't know about other realtors, but for me, like, if I have to go the extra mile to make sure everything goes smooth, then I will. You know, like, it's not going to kill me to clean something. Like, I don't mind it. So in any way I can help, I always try to. And like, just have, I think, realistic goals for people like that want to do real estate or any other entrepreneurship job.
This is your second tip you're going into?
Yeah. You know, to have an open mind, and just persistence. Also be persistent, like stick to it and just wait it out. But also at the same time work for it, right? You also have to put your work, because you're not just going to be waiting at home and just not doing anything. You have to put the work in it. So if you're putting the work, don't worry, like, gratification, it'll come eventually, but not instantly. Maybe not in the first year, but maybe in the second year, you know. And I think that as humans, we have to learn that great things take time.
I think
we have to be patient.
So we attended a conference together, a Develop conference last year in Miami in September, and I remember the speaker there, which was Patrick David. He said, like, you're touching on key points right now that he spoke about from the conference as well, where sometimes you can work your ass off for like 3 months and not see a result. 6 months, 12 months, 24 months, 36 months, so 3 years, you're 4 years, and then right when like people give up is when like literally like their breakthrough moment is like right there. Yeah. It's just really hard sometimes to just keep that motivation, that constant. So that patience and realistic goals, I think, is important to kind of keep that mindset. Also, especially the patient part, I feel like it's super, super important. And like for him, I think his insurance agent, like he was working when he first started his insurance firm, and then like it wasn't until like his 5th year where like he just exploded. Yeah. But if he had given up year 3 or 4, he would have never found the success that he had through his insurance firm.
Yeah.
And
But he didn't do it alone.
he didn't do it alone.
He did it with his wife. So I think it's important. If you don't have a partner, then a family member, a good friend that's always there to kind of like keep pushing you. Even because at one point, I think as humans, as a person, we get down. You know, we get depressed. We feel sorry. Like, you know, we're like, oh, like maybe we're not doing something right. And I think that's when we need someone to be like, no, you're doing good. Like, you know, keep pushing. You know, you're fine. Blah blah. Like, it's hard. Yes.
But you don't want to just a yes man either.
No, of course not.
Yeah.
But I think as an entrepreneur, you have to stick through it. Mm-hmm. If you're doing everything you can, as far as giving it your best in the job, in the field, then you will get that. You know, you will get what you're hoping for. You're gonna eventually, you know, succeed, and you just have to. I think at one point it was like, I needed you to tell me that, and you did, and then it changed, and then I was in good spirits because I've already been through that, and so then I was telling you, you know, you have to just stick through it, and then all of a sudden, like, you had your best week, so I was like, see, if you would have given up, or, you know, I don't know if you were thinking about that, but then you wouldn't have seen that. So I think it's just a matter of waiting.
Would you say that's number 3 as far as a support system?
Yeah, support system. I think support system is important.
Yeah. So we got patience, realistic goals, and support system.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That all makes sense. I think if you're putting in the effort and the time, and obviously you're not going to see the results for some time, but if you continuously do that, it's not a matter of if, I guess it's a matter of just when. Mm-hmm. When those results will pay off, right? Yeah. When you'll see that, finally you see the return on investment.
Exactly.
And it's hard. It is hard.
Yeah.
But I guess...
But it's worth it.
It's worth it.
Because at the end of the day, you get the opportunity to do things that others might not, that have a full-time job.
So can you quickly touch on that? So I know we talked about the difficulties and how, you know, going through the struggles. Like, what is the positive things about being an entrepreneur?
You get to make your own schedule. You're your own boss.
Or for real estate agents. So flexibility, work
yeah, you get your own boss. You know, you can go on vacation. You make your own...
Is that a reason to become an entrepreneur, just to be your own boss?
No, but for me, I think it was one of the, like,
one of your pros.
Pros, yeah. Because I never really wanted to, like, I knew from the back of my mind that I never wanted to have, like, a boss, just because it's, you know, I don't think anyone likes that. So...
I mean, if they're a good mentor, I guess.
Yeah. But, you know, being able to make your own decisions, as far as also flexibility, you know, not someone having to tell you, hey, you have to work these hours, or you can't take a vacation this week because blah, blah, blah. Like, you know, you're able to do that. And I think, you know, with becoming a realtor, I've been able to do that. We've been able to take vacations when, you know, whenever we've planned them, just because we have. And when I worked at the law firm, it was super hard when my grandpa was sick, and I couldn't, and I had to think. You felt guilty. I felt guilty about even leaving the job.
When your grandpa got sick in March of 2020.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that. Even your mom had that kind of mindset for a little bit.
Like, I was like, what if I leave and then, you know, I lose the job? And I kept thinking that. And that if I would have been a realtor, I would have just been able to go.
And it sucks, because life shouldn't be like that, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I think COVID had a lot to do with that, where it made you realize, like, life is short, and you have to just prioritize, you know, family, friends. Those are the real important things in life. And a job shouldn't have to, you know, come first. It really shouldn't. But at the same time, money does allow you to buy things, you know, be able to help out family and stuff like that. So
unfortunately, we need money to live.
Yeah, exactly. So
no, because to your point, I mean, you didn't make your he passed away.
Yeah. By the time I realized it, yeah. When
you finally had the courage to, or like a moment to say, hey, I want to take off some time to go to Peru to visit my grandpa, and he passed, and you missed that.
Yeah.
So you're saying, like, as a real estate agent, you maybe would have had more flexibility.
Yeah. And even, like, if our son or anyone in the family now gets sick or anything, like, I have the opportunity to do that, to be there. And that's what I like and I appreciate, and I feel like I'm lucky to have that. because I didn't have that before, and then still make good income. So it's just a, like, those are the pros, but that doesn't mean that the job is easy. Because yes, it has its positive side, but also like it's hard work, because you have to push yourself constantly. You have to constantly think, okay, where's my next client? Where's my next client? Because that's
how you're gonna eat next month.
Yeah, how you're gonna make money. So it is. I think it is overwhelming at times, but it's worth it. And now I feel like I'm kind of used to it, so I don't mind it as much. And I feel like I can be very flexible as far as I make time for myself, I make time for our family, and I make time for friends and for work. So like it's fine now. But I think real estate has definitely helped me like learn a lot as a person. So
no, I think you're spot on. You have more flexibility, especially with my crazy schedule.
Yeah.
And you just grow as a person.
Yeah.
You grow quickly.
Yeah.
Because as an entrepreneur, I feel like you wear so many different hats versus like a regular job. You're just like, okay, you did this. Here's your paper. This is your job. That's it.
Yeah.
Versus entrepreneur, you're doing so many different types of things. You have to do your own marketing. You have to do your own, to an extent, right? Because sometimes you have people who support you, but you have to do your own marketing, your own get your own referrals, get your own clients. Now there's some back support systems thankfully at Flores Realty, but I mean, it is a lot. So, but for people that are kind of on the borderline, I guess the advice you would give them is just patience again, realistic goals, and making sure you have a support system. I think that last one is very, very important as well.
Yeah, because I think everyone goes through mental health issues, especially when you're your own boss, because it just entails a lot of responsibility.
Because you have no one else really to talk to sometimes.
Yeah.
You're talking to yourself in your head.
Having someone that's there to understand you, especially if you have someone that's like, because at one point I was the entrepreneur in the beginning, and then now I kind of have like, the experience, and now I can relay that over to you. So having someone that's been through it already, it's also nice, because I think then they can tell you, how it really is, and then you're like, okay. So it's normal to go through these.
Would you be open to being a mentor?
A mentor?
Maybe in the future?
Yeah. I love talking.
As a realtor.
Yeah.
Well, thanks, Amor. I'm going to wrap it up here. I know we've been chatting for a good time, and I know we can keep going. But I know you're busy. You have to get some showings to go to. But thank you for coming out. I appreciate it. And yeah, just wish nothing but the best for you and your success. I honestly want you to do better than me. I want to see you reach for the stars. I want you to just kind of just excel. That's literally what I want for you. And so far, you've been progressing fantastically, and you're on your way. So go out there and spark your legacy.
Thank you.
All right. If you like this episode, make sure you subscribe to follow for more content and for our future episodes. Thank you.